Madam Clerk, maybe we'll proceed. The only remarks that I have under Chair's remarks is that we have a little bit of housekeeping on today's agenda. It was found that we didn't have all of the reports had not been submitted to the clerk's office. So there's items 1, 2, and 3 are pertaining to that, and just to accept the communication of those 3 groups of reports. So everything will be in the system. So I appreciate James Heath, Carter Fisher, and everyone for helping to put this together with our clerk, Pam, and we should be, everything should be in one location then, as far as the in the system after we do this. But I guess, Madam Clerk, we could go on to the next item.
I'm here.
Okay, great.
Yes, I just want to note that Commissioner Kinlock and Commissioner Varga have both logged on. We are moving on to item C of the agenda, which is approval of the August 19th, 2021 meeting minutes.
Move approval. Support, Kinlock.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes have been approved. Next item.
We are moving on to item D1 under new business, communication dated August 24th, 2021 from James W. Heath, Corporation Counsel, forwarding the reports received by the Special Committee on the Criminal Justice Complex for its 2019 meetings.
Okay, I'd like to, since these all 3 are the same items, essentially just for different dates and different periods of time. If there's anyone that has any questions, certainly ask. But these are just to make sure that we have all the reports that most of us, if not all of us, supposedly all of us, have been receiving individually. But this is officially receiving those from the Corporation Counsel, and then they will be, from this point forward, made part of the record every month when we have the meeting. So if I could get a motion to approve those 3 items.
So moved.
Are these information items? So that's receive and file?
Yes.
That is correct.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay. I guess, Madam Clerk, can we just do these with a voice vote?
I believe so, but I
Yes,
will
you can.
Okay.
Oh, okay. There she is. Felicia is here. Okay. I'll take a motion then. Once again, who made the motion to approve? Okay. All right. Let's just do a voice vote then. All those in favor of approving those 3 items, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Anyone opposed? Any questions? Okay. Moving on. That's 1, 2, and 3 have been approved.
We are moving on to item D4, an update from James Heath, Carter Fisher, Jay Shandor, Bill Rath, and Victoria Innes Edwards regarding the status of the criminal justice complex.
Okay. Carter, I don't see James. So are you the stand-in? I see Victoria's here.
That's right. Victoria Innes Edwards and Bill Rath are both on as well to give updates for various aspects of the project, but James Heath is out of town this week, so I'll be subbing for him today.
Okay, great. Would you like to lead off?
Sure. So I don't want to steal too much of Bill's thunder, but we did see a couple major steps forward on the project over the last couple of months since we last met. One of the biggest ones is that the buck hoist elevators, which are, you've probably seen them at various projects downtown, but they're external elevators that go up and down the outside of the building that are used early in the building process to transport materials. Those buck hoist elevators have been removed from the project entirely because we have the inside elevators operating at the buildings that need materials moved from floor to floor. So we're now able to completely seal off the buildings as a result of the buck hoists being removed, and that will also let us heat the buildings this winter and allow us to perform a lot of the interior work that requires heating going forward. So that's one big step that we wanted to highlight that's happened in the last couple of months. And the second one is that the central utility plant on the project has been completed and turned over to DTE for operations. And DTE is on site. DTE Russell Street, or DTE Energy Services, is on site currently operating the utility plant. So we are bringing permanent power to the site via our central utility plant, which again will let us do a lot of the internal operations on the project that require things like permanent heat. So we're preparing the buildings for permanent heat now, ahead of the winter that's rapidly, coming upon us. But we're in a good state for that sort of thing. So those are the big items that I wanted to highlight as far as construction progress. And then there's one other item that we're tracking carefully on the project right now, and that is we're, as I think we've discussed before, we're removing a small substation on site that was left over from the City of Detroit's Public Lighting Authority. The substation had been operating until very recently, and the City of Detroit just moved out of it earlier this year, which has allowed us to demolish the building and remediate any environmental concerns that we're going to have there, and which will also allow us to add more parking directly in front of the courthouse. We've reached an agreement with a contractor that's experienced in these sorts of things, that actually removes these substations regularly for the City of Detroit and other areas. And right now it looks like they're going to do that remediation and removal and demo at no cost to the county. It will just be done for the scrap value of the items inside the substation. So we're pretty pleased with that, and we're rapidly working with the City of Detroit and the utilities in the area and on site to get the permits we need to have that substation completely removed.
That's great. Real quick question, follow up on the CUP. Has both connections been made? I think we had already heard that both of them were made, but I just wanted to follow that up, make sure.
Yes. Yep. Okay. Both connections have been made for electricity to the CUP, and also the gas lines to the CUP have been connected. So we're receiving power in every way that we expect to at the CUP right now.
Okay. And before we go on to Jay and Victoria, I wanted to ask you, there were issues that were being worked on, trying to resolve. I think there were some changes, and I just wonder if you could give us an update on that, negotiations with ROC.
I believe we did actually reach an agreement with ROC on the price for a number of changes recently, and how we're going to handle the cost, particularly related to the cafeteria that we've already discussed in the past in terms of the cost breakdown there. But I think we're going to have to submit those changes in writing before I say too much more about them. I do need to check again with outside counsel before I get too far ahead of myself there.
Okay, maybe next meeting we can get a little better explanation of where we're at.
Yes, I expect you'll have some written communications that you receive before next meeting, and we'll certainly be able to talk about it at the next meeting as well. Okay,
great. If you want to proceed then if you have any more, or if you want to go to Jay or Victoria.
Sure, I'd love to turn it over to Bill just for a little bit more detailed construction update, if that's all right.
Great.
Thank you, Carter. Yeah, as mentioned, the buck hoists have been removed. That is a big step. There are interior elevators now permitted by the city, so the team is using those to access work areas. We're up to about 500 employees, skilled tradespeople per day on the site. The work is becoming finer in nature, smaller pieces, a lot of it. Installation of tile and millwork. The courtrooms are beginning to take shape. There are courtrooms on the third floor in which you can see the millwork probably 85–90% complete. The Third Circuit Court team is walking through next week, so we'll get some feedback from them on the finished product. It's not finished, but it's making significant progress. Prosecutor, sheriff, admin building, we're seeing more and more ceiling grid being dropped into place, indicating that overhead mechanical electrical infrastructure is complete. So that's an important step. ADF continues. It's a bear of a building. It's a big building. Lots of activity taking place there, and JDF is moving along quite well also. I think with respect to the changes that you just asked about, there was an equally important milestone achieved last month with respect to one of those requested items, and it had to do with the extent of security surveillance cameras at housing units. So the sheriff is very concerned that we have clear line of sight into the housing units to monitor and record activities that take place there. And so one of the steps we took was the people that install these cameras and these video management systems, security electronic systems, came to site with a device, basically a tripod that has an adjustable height to it with a camera on it, and the camera is connected to a computer, and they can sort of demonstrate the effectiveness of the cameras that are part of the base contract. And indeed, as a result of that, there are no additional cameras required to be added to the scope of the project. So there are 39 housing units, so that's a big win for the overall project. So that was an area of potential change that has been mediated. And I think Carter, the piece I would add to your statement about the change process is that we are doing everything to scrutinize and validate the need for these items. And I think the security camera exercise is a good case in point. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. Just to follow up, Jay, I wanted to ask, are we experiencing any problems recently with material delivery or things that we have on order or anything for the development?
I have not heard that.
Okay.
I have not heard that with respect to construction materials. I think there are concerns with respect to the auto industry is experiencing this issue with respect to chips, right? And so as we look forward to the FF&E scope of the work and we think about television screens, video displays, there's something on the order of 500 of those that are distributed across the complex. So we're going through a process to understand how the supply chain will support those aspects. But I think there are sensitivities to that we need to be keep our eyes on.
Right. That's what we're hearing all the time on the news reports of all the cargo ships. So I think the interior items, as you mentioned, I think are likely to be the ones if we're going to run into a problem, but hopefully we won't. Anything that'll push our completion date down. And Carter had mentioned about the buck hoist elevators being removed. So everything is expected to be buttoned up in plenty of time for adverse weather, or nothing won't be delayed inside. Yeah. Okay.
That's the plan. Yep.
Okay. Does any other committee members have a question at this point, or Mark or Marcy or even Commissioner Haydes?
The completion time is still on date, or there any change on it in 22?
The substantial completion date for the contract is August 25th, 2022, and that at this time is unchanged.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, being that there's not any other questions, we'll move on then. Victoria, would you like to give us a report?
Sure, thank you. Victoria Ennis Edwards, Director for Wayne County's Human Relations Business Inclusion Division. I'm very excited to talk to you about one of our big successes. So the locker package, which was the bid package number 11, was just awarded, and that was awarded to Swint Logistics as a prime. Sherry Harris is 100% owner of it, 100% woman and African-American owned firm. And she is partnering and subcontracting with Page Alvin for Page Construction for the install of all the lockers. So very excited because they're both Wayne County based businesses and women owned businesses, as well as Sherry being a minority owned business. We have been working with Swint Logistics and Page for probably just on this project. I've been working with them for a couple years on just getting them certified, but we've been working with them from the beginning of the outreach. When I first talked to you guys about the matchmaking and then doing some of the Shark Tanks and putting them together and having them have the opportunity to get in front of Barton Mallow and meet each other and talk and through the whole process. So we're really, really excited about it because this is an example of when you do the work up front of the success. So we are going to have two of our women-owned Wayne County businesses doing the installation of all the lockers, the gun lockers, the small lockers throughout, and awarded all 5 buildings. So it's a complete package. So I'm very excited about that, which helps trend us with our numbers. So right now we're doing very well when it comes to the Wayne County businesses. We're still trending between about 55, 56% are all Wayne County businesses for the spend. Again, between 5 and 6%, and sometimes it comes with what month we pull the numbers. I literally just received October's numbers. As well as 5% for minority-owned businesses, and then we're trending between 2 and 3% for women-owned businesses. So we're excited at looking at the numbers and seeing our successes. I know Chair Anderson, in the beginning, you spoke about our kind of self-correcting with how we're going to be submitting reports. So I will formally submit this in writing to you through the TCM process so that we have everything in the repository, but we are still trending very, very well. And I think we should be proud of the efforts. And it's just really exciting to see that our businesses are growing and getting these contracts. So I'm really excited about this bid and this award.
Good news, and you deserve a lot of credit for your work on that.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure. We work hard for our citizens and for our businesses. So
Thank
this
you.
is one of those good ones. Excited about.
Good. Yeah, I appreciate you submitting those through TCM, and I think that'll correct the issue that I was not aware it was happening, and Pam Lane contacted me, and we're should be going in the right direction now with making sure all the documents and all the reports, essentially the reports are now in the one cabinet to keep for
Absolutely
and access. Let's see. Did either of you have anything else you wanted to add? Carter, anything else?
No, not at this time.
Okay.
Commissioner, this is Mark Abel. Can I ask a quick question?
Sure, absolutely, Mark.
And Carter, this is for you. Victoria mentioned something that kind of raised a thought. We're talking about contract packages. Do you have any idea, any sense of what contract packages are left to issue regarding the construction in totality?
So Rock does update us from time to time about the contract packages that they're letting for construction purposes. I believe the only one that they have not yet let is what they refer to as hardscapes and landscapes and miscellaneous. So the sidewalks outside as well as the landscaping outside, and then there's a few, I think, minor sort of.
My recollection is that was an allowance to us. Is that true?
So that's the FF&E portion is an allowance to us. This hardscapes and landscapes is part of the project budget.
Got it. Okay. No, because it's usually as we let contracts, as we become more aware of the quality of the budget, and in reality we've avoided major surprises. So without that many contracts to let, it seems like it may be smooth sailing from here. Am I misreading that?
I don't want to make any promises. Right. I don't want to make any promises at this date, but I think we are pretty happy with our project budget to date.
Also, if I might, add to it, Mark, there is one package that they just did the pre-bid meetings for. So Carter is correct. The hardscapes and softscapes, all of that is the final one. The one that they did just do a pre-bid meeting for is a smaller one, but it is some of the steel finishes and some of the plastics, you know, some of the laminate countertops, some of the small finishing pieces, and that's out right now. So these are the pretty much the last two, and then we roll into the FF&E portion.
Okay, I mean, we've avoided some of the, I mean, throughout the nation, we've seen a lot of cost increases on construction supplies and equipment. So, I mean, it seems that we may have avoided a lot of that. I thank you.
Is okay. I'll set, Mark.
Yeah.
Thanks. Good questions. I appreciate those. And I guess we can move on then. Is there any, ask one more time from committee members, any questions that you might have, or anyone else?
Yes, I recall an email. This is Ken Locke, I'm sorry.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't see your name on there or photo, so I didn't know.
Okay, no problem.
Go
I
ahead.
don't see what's no problem. So I know that we had a couple of months ago, we had I guess some sort of bid fair. There were some notices that went out to various vendors, letting them know how they could participate in various opportunities in regards to procurement with this criminal justice center, and wanted to know, you know, have we seen any benefit that have come from that, any growth that have come from that, as well as I know I had mentioned before that Better Made potato chips. And I think that I was told that this was not necessarily they weren't going to be actually bidding that out, and there was a different track for that type of service or that type of those type of items. So just want to know whether or not there was any leads that came from the event that was held, and as well as are there other opportunities, and specifically some of the non-construction related opportunities moving forward.
Victoria, would you like to take that?
Yes. Commissioner Kinlock, I do believe you were talking about, we were doing basically intake and interest fairs for the FF&E portion. So what we were doing is we are literally, as we call it, shaking the trees, the bushes, go into all corners of Wayne County and trying to have businesses register, talk to them about the pre-qualifications, and we're having them not only registered within Wayne County, but having them register and getting them to understand insurance needs. Do they have their ERM number where applicable? Get them to understand all the nuances so that they will be able to participate on the bid. And this is the front end work and the pre-work for FF&E that has not yet been led. So those are some of the fairs that we were doing. A couple of them were Zoom. The majority of them, and that's the webinar and some of the fairs that you have been talking about. It has been fruitful, getting more people registered and also letting people know. For example, sometimes people will say, hey, I want to do X, Y, and Z. And so we say, okay, but at that level, making sure that you have enough time. Are you covered with insurance? So we really have been spending time combing some of the businesses and trying to get them pre-qualified and ready so that when the bids are let, we will be able to then have more people ready. We have kind of tried to benchmark and hope that we'll have a minimum of 3 businesses, Wayne County businesses, ready to be able to bid on each category that we're looking at. So that is part of what you've been talking about, and we're continuing that now.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Is that all, Commissioner?
Who should I have them contact regarding, who should I have the individuals that Better Made contact in regards to their interest?
Theirs would probably come at the other end of it, and that would go through our procurement department, and I think that would come through Aaron, but I know that will be after we get into substantial completion and they're looking to do the food portion. I know that is going to be a little bit different, but I do believe your point of contact would be our purchasing director, Aaron Wagner.
Thank you.
Commissioner Kinlock, yes, that will be handled through the Wayne County procurement team. in conjunction with the sheriff's office. So Aaron Wagner would be a good point of reference, and we will keep you abreast of how that process is going and sort of our timing on when we're going to let various supplier packages out to the street for the jail.
Thank you.
Is that all? Is that all, Commissioner Kenlock?
Yes, that complete my questions.
Okay, thank you. Excuse me. So I guess we're at the point, Madam Clerk, move the agenda.
We are moving on to item E, such other matters as may be properly submitted before the committee.
Do we have anything that has been submitted to the committee?
Not that I have received.
Okay.
Chairman, if I may,
Sure. Yes, Felicia.
through the chair, to Carter. So there's a contract related to the jail Source Blue that was at GovOps last week. We were told we were going to get responses. We haven't heard. We need those like ASAP in order for it to make the agenda. As you are aware, committee members did not appreciate receiving that information at the last minute. So to avoid that and to make sure staff has an opportunity to update our analysis and to follow up if necessary with you all, we kind of need that today. So I was hoping to get a status because I hadn't heard back.
Okay, I apologize for that, Felicia. I thought that Tracy had reached back out to you. We've actually, in response to some of those questions, we've been trying to schedule some meetings with outside counsel on a number of the items. And so that's sort of what's causing our delay on some of them. I can certainly get you a response to almost all of the items this afternoon, and I'll work to make sure that you have that. But there are a few questions outstanding where we just wanted to circle back and confirm with our outside counsel that the answers that we've given previously and sort of what we think are the answers are confirmed. So.
Okay, so can I ask, are you all looking for this for GovOps next week? I mean, obviously it doesn't have to go if you're not ready. I'm just trying to get an understanding of your timing.
I think that's still our goal. And I can answer probably 90% of your questions this afternoon, if not more than that.
Okay, thank you.
Alicia?
Through the chair, whoops, sorry.
I just wanted to ask, was postponed in committee?
The contract was passed for the day for additional information. There were some outstanding questions from commissioners and staff that needed to be addressed. So yes, it was passed for the day at GovOps last week.
Okay, thank you. And Joe, would you like to?
Yes, yeah, Joe Slazak, policy analyst. At the request of Corp Counsel, that item was returned to draft in the TCM procurement system, and as of this morning, it hasn't come back to us yet. So it's got to come back to us in TCM for it to be considered, aside from a pass for the day, for it to be actually considered at committee.
Understood.
Yes, and Joe, yeah, we're going to do that. I think we were trying to wait till we had everything together to not, parcel it out to you and piecemeal it.
That's understandable. Very understandable.
Thanks, Joe. Thank you. Is everyone, all the questions on that issue been resolved at this point? Except for what they're waiting on, of course. Okay. Anyone else? Felicia, you're all set?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Seeing that we have no such other matters other than what we just discussed, move the agenda, Madam Clerk.
We're moving to item F, public comments.
I don't see anyone else online, but is there anyone from the public that would like to make a comment or have a question? Again, I apologize. My video, I haven't been able to get it to work properly today for some reason. And so I have been here the entire time, as my name would indicate. But is there anyone from the public, once again, that wishes to personally comment or ask a question? Do you see anyone online, Madam Clerk?
I don't see anyone indicating that they'd like to make a comment. No.
Yeah, I don't either. And have we received anything in writing, any type of an email, or I should say email?
No, we haven't, Chair.
Okay. So One last time, any commissioner, committee member might have a question, or anyone else from staff that might have a question right at this time.
Thank you for the long report.
Yeah, I'll give you something to, if you need something to help you get
Take a
sleep.
bubble bath with.
All right, we'll move the agenda then, the last item.
We're on item G, adjournment.
All right,
So moved.
all right.
Support.
Thank you, everyone, for being here, and I'll make the meeting is now adjourned. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Commissioner?
Thank you.